Welcome to this video tutorial from the National Union of Students. This tutorial will show you how to access and use your students' comments submitted through the National Student Survey. This tutorial is primarily aimed at Students' Union staff, learner voice practitioners and university or college staff who will be manipulating their organisation's NSS results. It's not really aimed at students or student reps unless you're really keen. We do have videos aimed at you back on our website. At the end of the survey, students are asked 2 qualitative questions allowing them to comment on the positive and negative aspects of their course. Some institutions choose to add on an additional qualitative question. The most popular is, if you could change one thing about your experience, what would it be? All student comments are for internal use only. None are published and shouldn't be shared beyond the staff and students at your university or college. You can use them in published reports with a closed audience, for example in submissions to QAA review, or documents sent to your university teaching and learning committee, but don't pull out quotes and put them on your website, for example. Student comments should also not be used for marketing purposes, as the student was not informed that they may be used in this way. To access your comments, you need to have a login to the NSS results site, nss.techsoonatech.com. Our previous video on accessing and using the website will help you to do this. Enter your username and password and click to accept the terms and conditions. To access your student comments, click the link on the left-hand side of the home page. You won't see the comments straight away. First of all, you need to specify which comments you wish to see and how they should be labelled. To start, click Create New Report. The first selection you need to make is between taught and registered data. We usually recommend using taught data, as you can be sure that these are your students. Registered data often includes data from partner colleges, or if you are a college, it may exclude students whose courses are validated by a different institution. So we choose taught, then click Next. The next section allows you to add filters, which exclude some students from your dataset. You can select data from this year or for previous years. You'll see that this year is pre-selected. You can add a keyword search by clicking Change. This will return all comments with a specified word such as feedback. The keyword search is smart. For example, if you enter teacher, you'll also receive comments including teaching and teach. You can also add in filters based on students' demographic characteristics. So for example, if you've seen that disabled students are particularly dissatisfied, you could filter out only comments from disabled students to help you better understand their concerns. The comments are also coded by their relevance to certain questions in the core survey. If you wanted, you could filter out comments relevant to a specific question to help shed some light on your numerical data. For this demonstration, I'll add a keyword. I click Change, type in feedback and select Save, then click Next to move on. The final section asks you to select your rows. This labels your data, so for example, if you chose gender, you would be able to see if the comments came from a male or female student, or if you selected department, you would be able to see comments labelled by department. I'll choose Subject Level 2. When you select your row items, a list of all the possible labels appears. You could select certain subjects if you like, but this won't exclude all the others. All the comments will appear, but the subjects you didn't select will be labelled with a star. Don't worry if the list includes subjects your institution doesn't offer. You don't have to go down the list and select them. They'll automatically be excluded from your data. You can add up to 4 row labels, but it's worth considering how much information you'll gain. Every time you add a row label, it becomes more likely that you will lose some labels due to sample size. For example, if you added the labels subject and gender, you would require at least 10 students of each gender for each subject to have submitted comments in order to see fully labelled data. We'd recommend 2 as a maximum. Once you've entered your filters and your row labels, click Generate Report. It may take a few seconds to return your data. The first thing returned to you is the number of comments available. Clicking the green plus sign will show you how many comments are available for each subject. Any with less than 10 responses will show a star. In order to see the comments on screen, click Show Comments. When you click Show Comments, you'll see first the number of positive, negative and institution's own comments that are available, and how many are visible due to your filtering. Because I've added the keyword feedback, out of a possible 980 negative comments, I can see 128, and out of a total 1,086 positive comments, I can see 130. This doesn't necessarily mean that 130 positive and 128 negative comments mention the word feedback. Whether a student mentions feedback in positive or negative comments, their entire comments are shown. Scrolling down, you can see that the keyword feedback is highlighted to draw your attention to it. You can also see that for the first comment here, the first 2 boxes are empty because the student only submitted comments for the institution's own question. You can also view your comments in Excel. Scrolling back up, you can see the button Export Comments. When you export comments to Excel, you can see that there's a record of the filters and the row labels you've applied up on the top left. Below you have your comments, displayed in the same way as on screen, so each row represents the feedback of one individual student. The keyword feedback remains highlighted in Excel as well. Now you've got your comments, how can you use them? Comments are really good for contextualising figures and giving the numbers more of a human story. Comments don't just show that students are dissatisfied with something, they give you insight into what aspect of the problem is the biggest for them and how it's impacted on them personally. The student's description of pressure and stress in the second box gives a human face to the issue in a way that numbers alone can't convey. Comments can help you to narrow the focus on the issue. For example, if assessment and feedback is scored low on a particular course, in a particular department, or in your institution as a whole, student comments can help you to identify which aspect of assessment and feedback is the biggest issue for students. Is it the promptness of the feedback, the quality or constructiveness of the feedback? Is it the fairness of the marking, or that the assessment design doesn't measure the right skills and knowledge? Looking through your comments can help you identify further questions to ask students and staff, or even point you towards easy to implement solutions. The comments can also be used as a data source in themselves. You can look at them to see what issues are commonly raised by students on a given course or in a department. This could be as simple as creating a Wordle of all the negative or positive comments, or more in-depth using qualitative analysis techniques. We have a separate video on this. Just a final few things to remember before you go off and get hold of your NSS comments. First of all, remember that all students' comments are data for internal use only and shouldn't be published or used for marketing purposes. Secondly, the nature of qualitative data means it's not representative in the way that quantitative data can be. Each comment is the opinion of one student, and it's not possible to extrapolate that more broadly to represent the feelings of a whole group of students. Finally, remember that qualitative data is an extremely rich source of student opinion and can be used most powerfully to tell stories. The power of qualitative data lies in its ability to humanise the issue and really highlight how students have experienced their time at university or college. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy looking at your comments. If you have any queries, please contact nss@nus.org.uk.